Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on the markets. Wanted to do a bit of a market update this Saturday. It's much better to be outside, but it's just a quick update, right? For those of you who are interested. So let's get right into it. Starting to talk about the fundamentals a little bit. Obviously, the markets are closed today, the general financial markets. To take a sneak peek into next week, though, it might be interesting. Tuesday, we have job openings, at least that we know. We have PMI. On Wednesday, Thursday, we have initial jobless claims and trade balance. And then Friday, we have the unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls. So in general, that's the economic news. But obviously, and that's also what we are waiting for right now, the price is moving up here. So maybe I've missed something. But obviously, the main news that we are waiting for is some updates regarding the tariffs, or at least the trade relations between the US and China, which obviously had increased tensions on Thursday, Friday. I think those steel and aluminum tariffs, I think those will remain, right? So ultimately, that is something that will remain, and then obviously when the equity market opens tomorrow, we'll see how the market calculates that, or how the market is going to price that in, and that's going to have an effect on Bitcoin as well. But that's very hard to say right now, right? When we're talking about those tariffs, there's a lot of things you can say that can be both positive and negative for the price. So that is something I'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow and definitely on Monday. But that's basically the news you need to know about. Outside of that, talking about the fundamentals, we still have a Coinbase Bitcoin premium. So I guess that's quite positive. And in general, the price action, as you can see, over the last 3 hours has been quite positive as well. Now, I do want to, issue a little bit of a caution here when we're talking about Bitcoin, and we'll talk about XRP, Ethereum in a moment, and then we'll talk about some other smaller altcoins, which I think you need to know about. But ultimately, and this is the case with the bearish pressure we had during the Asian and the European session today, but that's also the case right now. The volume is quite low, right? So when these moves happen in the weekend and the volume is quite low, look, 24-hour volume is still pretty high, which is quite logical. But ultimately, like I said, the volume at which we're seeing this strength right now is quite low, right? So this is good to see, but ultimately nothing has happened yet. All right, on the 1 hour time frame, like the main level we would have to break to get some more recovery and to get a little bit more optimistic and bullish with the price would be 105,000. All right, so this is good. I mean, ultimately we need to, and that's what I said this morning as well, we need to get some strength from this level at 103,500 if we actually want to get back to 107 and 109. Otherwise, we're most likely going to drop down to 100,000. So getting that strength right now is great, but ultimately, if there's no reclaim, if there's no volume, it still remains very uncertain what's going to happen after, right? And now you can also see we left a bit of an imbalance here to the downside. So I think when we're talking about Bitcoin today, I would say it's most likely that we will remain stable, and remaining stable, we can also get some sort of a move up. But ultimately, we're waiting for tomorrow or for the week opening next week to either get a reclaim above 105,000, which would be bullish, or a break below 103,500, which would obviously be bearish, right? So that's what we're waiting for right now, and until we have one of those, like I said, given the fact that it's the weekend, I expect stability, but ultimately stability is not the main words I would use to describe Bitcoin right now. So yeah, we're waiting for confirmation, but those are my thoughts, at least for the weekend. Talking about XRP, my thoughts haven't changed compared to this morning, of course. What I said this morning, can I find XRP? Yeah, I can. Compared to this morning, what I said is this. I still think that, right? So yes, some recovery and stability I do expect at this level. But with the value area low being here at 2.07 and 2.05, I would expect one more move down to get some sort of a 3 drive pattern, but that could also happen from Sunday into Monday. And when we're talking about Ethereum, my thoughts haven't changed either. We've dropped down. So this is what I said this morning. I still think that's most likely, right? So some sort of a rejection into the POC, maybe in the 4-hour trend right here at 2,590, and then a retest of the bottom of the range, the bottom of the stability for Ethereum around 2,430 in the area right there. Now, when we're talking about some other altcoins, we can get a little bit more exciting or excited. There's a couple of coins that I think are interesting at this point of time. One of them is Fala Network, extremely high volume in a range. All right, so this is so we're talking about this, right? Fa. Interesting project nonetheless, but like I said, strong range right here. Very very high volume yesterday, but also today. So this is definitely a coin to watch, whether that is from the bottom right here to catch some sort of a pullback in the bottom of this range, or the breakout should be on your watch list. All right, trade carefully as always, but this should be on your watch list. Outside of that, Wallet Connect or WCT has finally crashed. This looks like it's done, right? So you can see this massive crash right here, massive volume as well. Look, can we get some sort of a spike back up at some point of time to liquidate all the shorts? Definitely yes. But this coin, even though the volume is incredibly high, I would avoid at all costs. All right, this is extremely manipulated. And the project behind it is serious, but ultimately, look, that doesn't really matter when you have price action like this. And then outside of that, I wouldn't say that there's much more to look at regarding altcoins, at least not today. Tomorrow, Monday, I expect that to be different, but then I'll be back with new updates. All right, for now, I think this is what you need to know. So thank you for watching. Take care. Have a great weekend, rest of the weekend, and bye.